Before we get started, make sure you're wearing your headphones for maximum audio experience.
Hello, listeners. My name is Sophia.
And my name is El.
And welcome to Rhyme and Reason. In today's episode, we will be talking about something that you have never heard ever in your entire life: food. Let's define what exactly food is. So according to Merriam-Webster, the definition of food is material consisting essentially of protein, carbohydrate, and fat used in the body of an organism to sustain growth, repair, and vital processes, and to furnish energy.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I love food. I think that's a given for almost everybody. But are you the adventurous type or are you the picky type of eater?
I could say that I classify myself under the adventurous type. My mom has Ilocos origins and my dad is from Bicol. So growing up, I experienced different dishes that come from their own provinces. I can't really name the dish, but as you know, like Ilocanos usually cook anything, like any vegetable, they cook it or eat it. My mom would put the fruit of the malunggay plant?
Yeah.
The kind of long one?
Yes.
She would put it in tinola, including like the flowers from malunggay. So she says that it's a peep into what she had as a child growing up, because her mother, my grandma, was from Ilocos, so it would reflect that in their cuisine. And for my dad, it's usually a lot of weird seafood and also vegetables. Cooking meals in coconut milk is also a staple. And of course, the spiciness.
Wait, so is he from Bicol?
Yes, he grew up in Bicol, from Iriga City.
Ooh.
So he would tell stories. They would pick vegetables from their backyard or from their neighbor's garden, and then they just cook it. Normally, they just cook vegetables because it was available pretty much everywhere, and other like fish and chicken were kind of like not a commodity. It was a little bit on the expensive side, especially for them. So yeah. I'd consider myself adventurous. How about you? I'd feel like you're the adventurous type as well, since you like cooking.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Lola is from Pampanga, so she knows a lot of Kapampangan food. And in the past, I've worked in a Kapampangan restaurant, so I've had a lot of experience with Kapampangan food. So in Pampanga, there are different types of pinakbet. So there's a traditional type, right? The one with the mixed vegetables, and they're typically overcooked vegetables. And then there's also the type of pinakbet that has talbos ng kamote.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's also the one with mashed kamote, mashed sweet potato. And also the type of pinakbet with, these small eggplants and ampalaya.
Yes. They usually put that in paksiw.
There. So in Pampanga, those are usually put in pinakbet. So I think there are about 5 varieties of pinakbet that I've learned how to cook. But yeah, what are the weirdest food that you've tried so far?
My dad prepared this ginataan dish with malunggay and a certain type of...
Yeah.
I'd describe it as like pulled meat. But then we were wondering what it really was because it kind of had a different taste. So I asked my dad what the meat was, and he said it was stingray. Have you eaten stingray before?
Yes, I have.
It's crazy. I felt like at that time, by that time, I had already taken like a couple of bites, and so I didn't know it was stingray, and I felt so bad. And then my mom said, "Oh, you basically cooked Nemo's teacher."
Oh my god.
It made me feel even. Do you know, like, you know that stingray right, from Nemo?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I would almost sob while eating my food because that thought is just so painful. But yeah, I feel like that's the strangest thing. I don't advocate for eating, especially those endangered animals and sea creatures. But yeah,
Okay, so,
how about you? What's your weirdest? I feel like you've mentioned like crocodile or like crickets or cockroach.
Okay, so for some people, goat and lamb are sort of, I guess, exotic. But aside from goat and lamb, I've had crocodile, I've had snail, I've had ants, crickets, balot, of course.
Yes.
I've had pig brain, ox brain, and goat brain. I've also had blood, the dinuguan. I've also had haggis, which are it's usually stuffed goat intestine. But yeah, and
appetizing.
also Adidas, the chicken feet. Yeah.
I don't know how to eat that properly. And I just don't bother.
Basically, you just chew everything and spit out the bone. That's it. Like you need to eat the white bones because they're not really that tough. So, I don't know about you, but
the soft bone.
Yeah, in fried chicken wings, I'd eat the white bones, the soft white bone.
Yeah.
So,
I eat that.
Right, but
do you eat like the entire thing of balot?
Yes. Well, I've only tried it twice, so I'm not gonna try it again.
But did you eat the white part?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, so you ate all?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
But aside from stingray, what other food have you tried that's sort of I guess weird or exotic in a way?
Oh, well, not much exotic. It's kare kare. I woke up. Okay, the very first time I remember tasting kare kare was when my aunt came over, and I woke up from a nap, so I didn't get to eat lunch with them. So I was presented by this like orange brownish looking dish with like very weird mix of vegetables, I'd say. I mean, at least for me, I'd never really encountered it before. And then, there's a side of bagoong. I'm like, okay, what's this? And then I taste it, and it tastes like peanut butter.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. Okay, I did say that I'm adventurous with food, right? Yeah. But there's just certain limits. Like, I don't necessarily like combining like sweet, like dessert type foods with like meals, like savory meals. That's where I draw the line. Like, I'm the type of person who doesn't like pineapple on pizza or raisins, and afritada, I just don't like the combo. But yeah.
Okay, but how about have you tried savory?
Like the
restaurant?
Yeah.
They have
good noodles.
Well, aside from the noodles, they have their chicken goes with saba, fried saba. At least back in the day.
Yeah.
Do you like eating fried saba with chicken?
Not at the same time. I'd eat it after I finish like the chicken meal with rice. I'd have it as dessert.
But how about as a kid? for us as a kid, we mixed mango with rice. Have you tried that?
No.
Well, it's good. Well, at least when we were kids, but because the mango is sweet and rice used to be boring, and
Yeah.
but now it's in bagoong rice, right? There's the sour mango that goes with it.
With bagoong
Yeah.
rice.
Because the traditional bagoong
Mhm.
rice usually has sweet meat and bagoong, and then the fried egg or scrambled egg, and then they'd mix in sour mangoes, like ripe mangoes. So it's sort of the ripeness sort of accents the saltiness of the dish.
Yeah, I understand that those components are meant to like accentuate the flavors.
Yeah.
But I don't know, my mind has a hard time trying to detach it from the concept of it being part of a dessert and the other like being just savory food that you pair with rice.
Okay, but I have another set of sort of dessert and savory food. You eat sinigang, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what types of sinigang have you had?
Oh, I've had, the classic pork, bangus, like with the shrimp.
Mm.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, have you tried ube sinigang?
No? No.
Have you tried guava sinigang?
No. But I understand that guava is supposed to be kind of sour.
Yeah. What about I've also had watermelon sinigang
What?
and strawberry sinigang.
Okay, strawberry. Have you had the like kamyas in sinigang?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the strawberry sinigang is good, especially if it's coming from Baguio.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the cafe by the ruins in Baguio?
No.
So that's a tourist spot for tourists, and we ate there, and they had this strawberry sinigang with bagnet. So the pork was crunchy, and then the sinigang had it was red, pinkish, and it tasted like sour strawberries, but not too sour. It was sort of sweet at the same time.
That's interesting.
And then it same goes for the watermelon actually, but the watermelon sinigang was more on the sweet side, depending on the type of watermelon that you'll get.
Well, I didn't know that people use different types of vegetables for that.
Well, I guess nowadays it should be expected because especially right now, everybody tries different shit. Okay, but what type of food do you not eat?
I think the ones that I mentioned before, like dessert food and then savory food combined. But there's one particular dish, I don't know, because it's kind of a practice in our house to put onions and tomatoes in scrambled egg.
Yeah.
And I like tomatoes and I like scrambled egg, but the combination of the both, the taste just repels me. I don't like the taste. I pick out the tomatoes, sadly, but I give it to my sister because she likes them for some reason. But yeah, that's one of the food that I really don't like eating.
Oh, well, that's also common here at home. Tomato and onions in our scrambled eggs. I don't think I really have any food that I don't like, aside from peanut butter.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. I'm like, should I ask Elle what food he doesn't like? But I was thinking of what you'd say. I'm like, I don't think he doesn't like anything.
I don't like peanut butter. That's it.
Wow.
Um.
What? Why? Are you allergic to
Well,
nuts?
no. I mean, I don't like peanut butter, but I like kare kare.
That's such the opposite. Wait, what's with peanut butter? You don't like the texture, the taste?
I don't like the texture and the taste. I mean, for me, peanut butter is like sort of a waste of nuts, I guess.
No.
Especially when it's on bread. It's just, it has a, I don't know why, it's just weird to me and I really don't like it. So even the, have you had the Oreo, the peanut butter Oreos?
I can't say, but I've tried like peanut butter filled cookies, or like sandwich cookies.
Yeah, I don't like those either.
Why?
They just taste so weird.
Have you tried the Presto ones?
Yeah.
They're good.
No, they're not. Well, I guess when I was a kid, I enjoyed the Presto biscuits, but I guess when I was around 15, 14, I started to dislike peanut butter. I don't know why, honestly. It's just, it just happened all of a sudden that,
Aww.
yeah, peanut butter. I really hate peanut butter. And also, I don't get the peanut butter and jam combination.
No, but you had to try it.
No, I did try it, and I don't get it. Like,
It's good.
no, it's not. It's weird. It's like
Yes, it
the
is.
texture of the jam is so different from the peanut butter. It's like,
Yes, that's what it's supposed to be.
I don't like it. It's peanut butter. I don't like it.
I guess that's understandable, but I really don't understand. But I'd respect that. Speaking of other kinds of
Yeah.
food, someone told me you have an opinion about fast food.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
What would that be?
Well, nowadays there are. Fast food is everywhere. So personally, I don't like fast food. I mean, most fast food are mass produced, and it also kind of lacks the joy of cooking. I've seen how fast food workers work, and I've seen how the food is mass produced and how it's distributed. So in most fast food, you'd rarely see the cooking process that we do at home. So, for example, let's say fried chicken. In some fast food, the fried chicken would just come into the restaurant, and it's all you have to do is just fry it. That's it. And also, fast food are so greasy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you eat fast food in one whole day. You have fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The amount of grease that you intake from a day's worth of fast food is almost as much as how the amount of grease you eat for breakfast, if you've had fast food, is the exact amount of grease that you would use to cook home food the whole day. If you're not having fried food, that is. How about you? What's your take on fast food?
I'd say for the past few years, I'm not really part of a family who eats out a lot, especially, these days. I guess for fast food, it is understandable for some, especially for the working class who are probably living on their own. And, the main selling point of fast food is the convenience. So, you don't have to worry about getting the ingredients for this. You just have to line up and pick whatever you want on the board. And so I understand that there's some form of, convenience, and it saves you time. I do still find the value of, cooking at home. Like you said, there are health benefits to that, especially in our home. It becomes kind of an event where everyone gathers and kind of helps out. And so it helps kind of strengthen relationships as well. And also, you get to learn how to prepare a meal from, maybe buying things from the market, budgeting, and then planning out meals for the week. And so there's also advantages to that. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, everyone knows that fast food is bad for you because it has, tons of chemicals, some that they don't even disclose, and then, lots of sodium and fat, which, can contribute to a lot of long-term, medical issues. So I think for the most part, fast food is great. It's a good reward for yourself once in a while, but everything in life there has to be
it
a
should
balance.
be moderated.
Yeah, moderate. Maybe if you're working and you're busy, I've seen a lot of people do meal planning or meal prepping. So one afternoon in their weekend, they prepare meals, cook all the meals that they need for the entire week, so that everything is prepared and they just have to reheat it. So that's one of, I think, the good compromises to that. But yeah, that's my take on fast food. Speaking of rewarding yourself with food, what do you consider your comfort food?
I don't think I have a comfort food.
Okay, explain.
How do you define comfort food? Okay.
For me, comfort food is it's something that it kind of gives you the feeling of relief and relaxation, kind of rewarding yourself. You feel satisfied whenever you get to eat this food.
Yeah, I don't think I have one. Holy shit.
And also, because food, all the food that I eat provides me comfort.
No, because I could say that, but I've never had the feeling of comfort when I eat something. It's enjoyable to eat food because food is great and all, but I don't think I've ever experienced a comfort food.
Let me reframe the question. If everything goes back to, well, it really won't go back to the way it was before. But if everything opens up and you'd get to choose the very first place you'd go to or meal you'd eat, what would it be?
Oh, okay. This would definitely go to squid ball and pancit canton at UP Diliman. Because it's
specifically in UP Diliman because they make it different there.
I know they do. It's there's one that's right outside of Dad's office. There are, I think, 4 or 5 stalls that. There's one that sells the squid balls. There's one that sells the pancit canton. Then the others sell drinks. Then the others sell the chips. And when we wait for Dad to finish work, sometimes we'd spend time there. And I think that was the first meals that I've had with my family in UP Diliman.
Wow.
The squid balls and pancit canton.
Mm-hmm.
How about you?
See, I consider pancit canton as comfort food. We don't really buy pancit canton, so when I get to eat pancit canton, it's very exciting. I could classify it as my comfort food.
By the way, for the listeners, the pancit canton we're talking about is the instant one, the Lucky Me instant pancit canton.
Yeah. Because, home cooked ones. Wait, joke. I was gonna say home cooked ones are bad, but that's a lie.
Oh my god, I'm not cutting that better.
Out. My mom cooks good pancit canton.
Oh, okay. Okay, now let's talk about breakfast. What's your breakfast menu like?
We usually have rice. Rice is a staple, and egg. Either that's, sunny side up, scrambled egg. And then the main meal kind of switches out. Okay, wait, let me retract a bit. Even though we don't eat fast food, I feel like breakfast is the most unhealthiest meal of the day that we have, because I'm not gonna lie, we eat canned food, like canned meat, canned sardines. Everything is in a can these days. Canned tuna, corned beef. I'm surprised they didn't call it canned beef, because it just goes with the whole canned. But yeah, those are basically the ones. And then occasionally pancakes, occasionally oatmeal. How about you? I feel you're the one who cooks breakfast every day, right?
Well, I used to, but now we sort of alternate.
Oh, you've retired now.
Well, not really, but we sort of alternate every other day.
Oh.
So for us, the breakfast menu, well, it does also revolve around canned food, because when it's breakfast, we want to eat early most of the time, and eating early is a norm here at home. And we have corned beef, we have spam, we have sardines, and most of the time we have leftovers.
Meals?
Yeah.
Leftover meals?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Especially when it's breakfast leftovers are usually 2 dinners and 1 lunch, sort of those leftovers. So when there's a lot of food in the refrigerator that we eat, that we need to finish, that's usually breakfast. Some weekends, when there's literally nothing for breakfast, we order fast food. In our typical fast food breakfast is McDonald's, and usually I just get the hash brown because, oh my god, I love hash brown.
Wait, I just realized.
Yeah.
Like, how come? Like, I'm trying to think of a breakfast that's not instant, or doesn't come in a can, and I can't think of anything.
Well, you can make pancakes from scratch.
Yeah, that's one.
I mean, it's not that difficult. Well, it's different because for us Filipinos, we don't eat just egg for breakfast.
Yeah.
Like
it has to be
cultures.
a semi full meal. Because I know some people just have coffee and, pandesal or like bread.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, I used to do that when I was going to work. I just have pandesal and coffee before we start working, and before I leave home. I mean, I leave home around. Well, I used to leave the house at around 6 a.m. when I have an 8 a.m. shift. So when we get there, it's either we just have coffee and pandesal or coffee and suman.
But I haven't tried that. Is it filling enough until lunchtime, or do you have to eat after a couple hours again?
Well, that would depend on how you work. Like for me, I work in the kitchen, so we need to taste everything that we cook before we let it out of the kitchen. So that sort of fills us up until lunchtime. But the pandesal and the suman part are crucial when it comes to starting the day, because you can't start the day with just coffee in the morning. Because if you start the day with just coffee in your stomach, it would usually lead to ulcer, because coffee is acidic. So if you just have coffee in your stomach and you don't eat anything until lunch, you'd have this burning sensation in your stomach, and it's an unpleasant feeling. Here's the last question I have on my list. Just play along with me here. Let's agree that the best food in the world comes from your own country. Which country would produce the second best food for you?
I'd say Spain, because, we have lots of Spanish influences in our cuisine. But other than that, I feel like they don't shy away from adding spice, adding flavor. Granted, I don't think I've eaten a lot of, pure Spanish dishes. But, I can see from their culture and the bond that they have over food, because they gather for food. So I'd say So I'd say that's the country that I'd pick. How about you? What country would you pick?
For me, I would pick Thailand. I love Thai food because their flavors are strong. Thai curry is amazing. And have you had the spring rolls? The Thai spring rolls.
I can't say that I have. What's their main difference from, the traditional
Lumpiang Shanghai.
Yeah.
Thai spring rolls are sort of have this fresher taste. Like they use herbs in the filling, and the dip that goes with the spring rolls are different from the sweet and sour dip that we are normally used to when it's lumpiang Shanghai. It's more on the sweeter side. And then they also have pad thai. Oh my god, pad thai. Have you had pad thai?
Yes, I believe I have.
Pad thai is one of my favorite foods. It goes alongside mee goreng, which is a Vietnamese noodles, I think. Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah, it would be Thailand.
So you're probably wondering, why are we rambling about food for so and so minutes straight? Well, we all know the quote that goes, the fastest way to a man's heart is
through his stomach.
Yes. So even though sometimes we take food for granted, we sometimes forget the essence and importance of food. For some people, they may see food as how we described it earlier, which is any substance that is consumed for, the benefit of our body and to promote growth. But some also see it as a way to connect to people. Food is a symbol of culture, and there's stories embedded in every ingredient found in a recipe, and that recipe could be passed down from generation to generation, and that's the dish that you're eating now. Maybe that's why it gives people comfort, knowing that it was lovingly prepared and made for them to enjoy. And for me, food is what brings people together other than, our characteristics and our viewpoints. Food is, like music. It's what brings people together. Even if you have different tastes and different preferences, we could all just bond over food. Just imagine the conversations that you can open up with just talking about food, just like what we did in this episode. So other than that, food also affects your mood. We talked about finding comfort in food. It's interesting how certain smells and certain dishes kind of bring back memories. And so for me, that is a really big reason why I just enjoy gathering for food, is like what Elle mentioned earlier. The squid ball, fish ball, and pancit canton are reminiscent of his time when he was working near UPD, and it was also the time where he had his first meal there with his family. And so we can see that how food kind of is a memory capsule in a way, and it kind of takes you back to the past. Food is really more than just fuel for your body. It also fuels your mind and sparks conversation. It also builds character. So you might not associate food with character building, but as I've mentioned, with cooking your own food, you're taught certain life skills like chopping and certain terms that you might need in the future, like sauteing or dicing, etc. That's all the terms that I know. And also how to start a fire, how to make sure that your food won't burn and your food become inedible. So it's inevitable. And like I mentioned in our previous season, food is a good way to test someone's character. When you put food in front of a person, you can get a glimpse of who they really are. It might be a bit judgmental, but you can really see a person's first reflexes when they see food. Do they pray? Do they offer it to other people first? Or do they pile up food on their plate? Do they eat slow? And those stuff kind of play into our mannerisms. And so dining with people and exchanging stories with each other is mediated by food. And so in that way, food plays a really big part in who we are as a person, inside and out. And that has been our episode. Thank you for listening to Rhyme and Reason Podcast. You can support us by subscribing to our podcast on the Anchor app. And support for our podcast will allow us to produce more interesting episodes in the future. If you liked that episode, please hit that like and that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a comment down below to let us know what you think about the episode. Follow us on Twitter by clicking the link in the description. We really love seeing your guys' support and receiving your comments. So if you have the time, please do let us know. See you next time!
The following is a short message from Sophia to our listeners.
Hi listeners, I'm Sophia. I would just like to thank you for your continued support for our podcast. It was truly inspiring to be part of this journey with you, discovering and making sense of life. Due to unexpected life circumstances, I'm afraid I cannot continue hosting this podcast. However, do stick around for the next episode to find out our brand new host. Thank you and goodbye.